Hey guys, I thought I would do a video of an overview of first language lessons, level 3 and level 2. Let's start with level 2. So right off the bat, you see that this comes with one book. This is all you will need as far as curriculum is concerned. There are also some, I believe CDs that go along with this. I know definitely for level 2 there are CDs, but for this one I think there's CDs as well, and it has chants and things of that nature. That's the cover, and then this is our table of contents. It shows us all the information that the child will be learning throughout each lesson, and it breaks that down very well. I believe there's about 100 lessons. So it lets us know how to use the book. So this is an important step to read, so that way you know how to teach the information to your child. The method of this book, why it's taught in the way that it's taught, so it describes and explains that. And then expectations, which are really nice. So goals for your child at this level. Now, here are the approaches. Memory work, copying and dictation, narration, and I believe grammar is the last one. And grammar. It says to plan on doing the book 2 to 3 lessons per week. So there's that. So this is not a curriculum you have to do every day, but 2 to 3 times a week. And I think that's determined on if you're going to do dictations. So if you don't know dictations, or you're doing that in a different curriculum, then you would do this 2 times a week. It also lists other materials you could need if you want to gather all those supplies, and it just lists all those down below. This book is designed to follow and reinforce first language lessons level 1. Now, I will say, if you have not done the first language lessons 1, it's not horrible to start off here. It starts off pretty slow, where I think it's discussing nouns. Yeah, first lesson is discussing nouns. So if you had a first grader who didn't do any formal grammar or dictation or anything of that nature, and they were more advanced, or they're now a second grader, then I think it would be okay. It's even better if they have done the first lesson though, because they just go hand in hand. All the books kind of go hand in hand. It's really heavy on nouns though. This the first book is. So the second book, it goes more in depth of other forms of speech and things of that nature. Sorry. And then we get to the back, to where there is a glossary, different terms and definitions that are described throughout the book. And I believe it's about a page front and back. And then there's also a page that tells you where all the poems will be located throughout the book, and then an index. So the first 2 books are very similar in the way that they are designed and set up. The only additional thing you will automatically need will be some sort of dictionary, children's dictionary, and a thesaurus. So now we're going to take a look at level 3, which is very different. After level 1 and 2, you move on to level 3. This will begin the time where you will need 2 books. There is a actual, I don't want to call it a teacher's manual, but maybe a teacher's guide. And then there is a student workbook. The way the student workbook is there's perforated pages that you can tear out that go along with each assignment. So we're working through this now. And we're only on we will be on lesson 4 today, actually. And you would just rip that out. Each lesson, there are more exercises. The first few, there were only 1 or 2 exercises and 3 exercises and 4 per page. And so far, it's pretty easy for her. But I'm sure it will, you know, start to beef up and be a little bit more challenging. But right now, we're on nouns, pronouns, and she's pretty good about things like that. So this is just more of samples of the work. So then we're going to be diagramming sentences, which is really awesome. I'm really excited about that. I think it's really important for kids to kind of understand, you know, what's a sentence, the noun, all those type of things. All right, so then we have our manual or guide, and it's going to start off very similar. Another note to add is that it lets you know that this is in conjunction with the first language lesson book 3 student workbook. It also has the ISBN number, which is nice. It shows you where it's available. I purchased all of my books from Amazon, where I found them all for under $30. I think this one might have been under $15. This one was probably the most expensive. It was like $25 possibly, and then this one was like $17, somewhere around there. All right, table of contents. I believe that there are 100 lessons in here too. Oh, no, there are 89 lessons, and then there are some written letter lessons, and there are 7 of those. Dictionary skill lessons, 7 of those. Oral usage lessons, there are 7, and reference material. So, starts off by telling you about the 4 excuse me. It talks to you about the 4 strand approach. So that just is memory work, copy work, and dictation, narration, and grammar. Now it notes that, you know, what is dictating, and it breaks it down a little further so that you're doing that correctly. I make sure to highlight that because sometimes it's easy to just hand over things to children and say, hey, copy this. Well, that's copy work. It's not dictation. I've been guilty of that. So I want to make a special note that I need to be verbally explaining and telling things, and my child should be copying what I'm writing. So that was more so a note for me. The length of the lesson. Love this part. So I would say after reading the instructions, reading and getting familiar with the book, this would be my next step. It tells you what to expect as far as how long the lesson should take and how many times per week. So it says this book is designed to be completed in 1 school year. If you do the lessons in the main part of the book but skip the end units, do about 2 lessons each week for the school year, so that's 36 weeks. If you decide to include the end units as well, plan on 3 lessons per week. See samples, page 460. So let's go to page 460. Ah, look at that. You could easily copy that, rip it out, tear it out, whatever. It has a complete list and graph for you of each week. So there's 36 weeks, and then you could do option A or option B or option C, and you could check mark, highlight, so you can kind of see where you're at and hold yourself accountable for doing at least 2 lessons a week. So if your plan was to do 3 lessons and maybe you only got 2 lessons done, you can always make up for that because typically people are schooling 4 to 5 days a week. So that's great. It does give you a little bit of a grace. And then if you have someone that's behind or struggling and you need to do repeats, there's an option there too. This also just explains a little bit more of how you can break the lessons down. You can do 89 lessons in the main part of the book. You can do the entire book and finish with the option in units. You can do the entire book and you can do the optional units along with lessons. So here's your chart. Love that. I already talked to you guys about the student workbook and the ISBN number, which is great. And the next thing is, we've already talked about the schedule. So that's that. So here's the first lesson. Right off the top, you can tell the lessons are a little bit more in depth. So it's a lot more of memorizing. So right now for lesson 1, they have you memorizing what a noun is and breaking it in each part. You know, what is a noun, a person, what is a noun, a person, place, and all the way to the thing and idea. There is some dictation. There's optional follow-up. The optional follow-up is really great. Sometimes they're projects, sometimes they're field trips. It's optional. You might want to look through a few of these to see if there's anything that might interest you and plan ahead. So I'm honestly really enjoying this curriculum. It's really simple as far as what's demanded of the parent or the teacher. You are basically reading from a script and your child is responding. It starts off very basic in my opinion, especially with the nouns. That's like the one go-to part of speech where most kids kind of have an idea of what some part of a noun is, right? And then it really dissects and gets into the nitty-gritty of a noun and a pronoun and a singular noun, a plural noun, and that's awesome. I really do enjoy that. It's not too work heavy either. My daughter's actually excited when we're doing the lessons because she knows what to expect. She knows that, hey, we only have to do this a couple times a week. The lessons for her as of now are only taking her about 15-20 minutes. It suggests that for her age level she should be taking about 30 minutes, but I would say when we get a little bit more in depth in the book, like things like